I mean, you're making a huge difference, not just in today's
thank you.
voters, but in the next up and coming ones who are going to be voting 4 years from now, Charlie. It's huge. I do feel there's something divine going on. You were chosen for some reason.
Well, I'm humbled, and I said this. Well, thank you, Megyn, and I'd love to meet your kids. And I said this on election night. God gave us grace as a nation. I'm humbled by it. I say praise God. I'm just a small part, and He used what we were doing. I mean this. I had zero expectation that what we were going to do was actually going to move the dial this much. We did it out of obedience. We did it out of, hey, let's play the role. You know what it's like on a campaign, right, Megyn? Oh, if we can move, a couple hundred people and do your part and it all adds up. I had no idea that this thing was going to set off the way it did. And I mean, we look at these youth vote numbers. It's not normal. It's the best performance by a Republican since 1988. And allow me to say one other thing about the youth vote that I think you'll really appreciate, Megyn, which is the Democrats underestimated how much pent-up rebellion energy was there because of how they were treated and lied to during COVID and the political correct regime that coupled with COVID. So they lost proms, graduations, they had to wear masks, they were on Zoom class, and then during it, they were propagandized with the most ferocious, aggressive, misleading left-wing propaganda on race, on sexuality, on gender, on America that we've ever seen. And so now, 4 years later, this Gen Z was like, you know what? You guys in charge, the same people that were trying to lock up Trump, you guys materially messed up my life, and I don't like you. And I think the Democrats misread the vibe. For all about, they're about the vibe. They misread it. And we happened to read the room. We saw it. And again, these kids were disproportionately punished for doing nothing wrong during COVID for extended periods of time. And the Democrats just shrugged their shoulders. Oh, kids will get over it. Think about it, Megyn. You remember probably years 13 through 17 more than years 23 through 27. Those are your formative years. And they were robbed by these kids, from these kids. And so we played into that in the best possible way. And Donald Trump became this ascendant symbol of we're going to take back the country so that you can have a better future. And as I said at almost every campus stop, you guys represent the first generation since George Washington to have it worse off than your parents. It is a breakdown of the social contract. You are the most depressed, anxious, suicidal, drug addicted, psychiatric drug addicted, alcohol addicted generation in history. You guys deserve better. We do politics basically for one reason, to leave a better future for our kids. I mean, all the other stuff is fine, but that's really why we do this, right? So that you can keep this beautiful experiment going. And we failed in that. And this next generation had a say to try to make sure that they could also have access to the American dream like their parents. And they spoke decisively. And every Democrat right now is scratching their head, going through precinct by precinct, wondering why there's safe spots of college campuses like Dane County, Wisconsin, like Center County, Pennsylvania, like Arizona State, like University of Arizona in Tucson, why they moved 20 to 25 points in Donald Trump's direction.
It's amazing. Just the right combination of recognizing what the issues were as created by the Democrats and then getting in there and doing the work to exploit them, to reach out to these kids to say, let me give you the proper framework for it. I feel like that's half of what I do on this show. Let me give you the framework for what's being done to you right now, because they just take out their fire hose and they train it on you. And most people are just like on their heels getting completely pummeled by the fire hose of information about what terrible people they are and why they have to believe boys can become girls or whatever your issue is. And it does help to have somebody like you go on and say, let me put in perspective what you're feeling, like the stuff about the anxiety. That's not normal. You don't have to live like this. This has been done to you. I do want to show you something that's happening on college campuses, a few things. But before I move on to that, this is worth playing. At the moment Trump announced, or that it was announced that Trump won SOT 3, and Charlie's reaction.
Let's go.
There it is.
Everybody should remember this moment. Look, I'm gonna echo Charlie from earlier. Remember where you were when this happened. Remember where you were when you realized that the Uniparty and all of these, just the establishment, you said it's time to actually participate. And look what you guys have done.
And if anyone deserves to get tears in his eyes, it's Charlie. I think we all agree.
I think Erica was chopping some onions or something in the break room.
No one has worked harder than Charlie for this.
We gotta hear some words here from you, Charlie. You put all this together, my man. Let's hear it.
I am just humbled by God.
It's all good. It's all good.
Aw, that is emotional to watch. I share your feeling, Charlie. I felt it that night too.